Howdy, my name is Sam Schaaf. For this project, my team chose to explore whether, due to the COVID-19 pandemic and the exodus of college students from college towns nationwide, the U.S. Census Bureau accurately counted the population of Champaign, Illinois, which is home to half of the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. To do this, we compared the actual 2020 recorded population for Champaign, which was 88,302 residents, to 6 different projected populations using population data from 2000 to 2019 from the U.S. Census Bureau. These are the assumptions behind each of our 6 models. So we start off with the linear model and the average annual absolute change, which both use previous years to determine a constant absolute increase by year as a growth model going forward. The average and AAAC uses 2 previous years, whereas the linear model we used data from 2000 and then from 2010 to 2019. And using a regression, we were able to come up with a model that was a little more accurate than the AAAC. The geometric model and the average annual percent change methods use a similar concept, except these assume that the population will change by the same percentage each year. So once again, the AAPC only uses 2 years, whereas the geometric model we used 2000 and 2010 through 2019 as our base years. The share of growth method uses the city's previous share of the state's growth over 2 years. So in this case, Champaign's share of growth compared to the state's, Illinois' growth. For this, we use 2000 and 2010 as our base years. And then using the projected population for Illinois for the years 2020 and 2030 provided by the state demographer, we were able to predict Champaign's population for the same years. And a similar method is the shift share method, where we used the city's previous share of the state population instead of the city's previous share of growth, and then use that to predict the city's future population. So here are the results of our calculations by method. You can see that for 5 out of the 6 methods, the census counted fewer residents than would be predicted. And then we have a significant outlier in the share of growth method. And that will be explained in a second. And we also predicted the 2030 population. You can see that there, 4 out of the 5 of the 6 methods projected continued growth in Champaign. You can see that the differences between the linear model and the AAC, and then the differences between the geometric model and the AAPC are very, very small because of the similarity between each of these methods. So here's a plot of the actual population in orange and the projected population of all of the projection methods in navy. So we're going to go ahead and eliminate 4 projection methods from our forecast. So the first 2 to go are the share of growth and shift share models. these aren't good models for the Champaign-Urbana region because this area is growing because it is a college town, whereas Illinois is one of very few states that is actually losing population. So the fact that these two regions are moving in opposite directions kind of makes these models unhelpful for us. Now for the AAC and the AAPC, because they're so similar to the linear and geometric models, we're going to focus on the linear and geometric models because they're based off of more years of data. And also, to minimize the error from these models, we adjusted them so that the 2019 projection matched the actual 2019 population data. So then the model moving forward would be closer to current reality. So here is the map of the graph of just the linear model. You can see that it projects that in the year 2020 there should have been 90,000 people compared to just about 88,000. In the year 2030 projects just above 101,000 people. This assumes that every year the city will gain 1,106 people. You can see, according to this, they lost just about that amount from 2019 to 2020, according to the Census Bureau, putting them right back down to around their 2018 population. A similar situation with the geometric model. This assumes that the city will grow at a constant rate of 0.61% per year, and that the city should have had 90,204 residents in the year 2020 instead of only 88,000. But then it assumes that the city will grow to 104,000 by 2030. So for our forecast, we used the linear model because even though Champaign is a college town and has plenty of land around it to develop, you can look at previous 5 years and see that the growth rate has slowed. So the geometric model wouldn't be the best for the forecast, whereas the linear model makes more conservative estimates of population growth in the city. So given that the 2020 census only counts the 88,302 people in the city, that's 1,700 fewer residents than the linear model would predict. We suggest that the city should contest the census results. It's especially important if there are important programs or funding that the city can receive if they hit that 90,000 resident mark, even an interval of 10,000. If not, if 90,000 citizens is really not an important distinction, then it might not be worth it for the city to contest the results, but essentially the 2020 census says that Champaign lost a whole year's worth of population growth, which seems pretty significant. So thank you for listening to this presentation.